So in this video I would like to introduce you to the first model of the course, model stroke technique. Now this, just to be clear, this is one of those quick fix techniques, alright? It's not going to do or create or bring about any degree of long-term change in either yourself or in anyone else, but it can be good just for getting someone else's focus and their attention. Because as we've already established, as human beings we are emotionally led creatures, are we not? And many of the people who come to you for life coaching moving forward into the future, when they walk through your doors or into your room or your studio or your office or whatever it is that you go on to set up and get in place, they're going to bring all their problems and all their emotions with you. Now, if you want to have a mature and engaging conversation with someone, well, there can be no emotions in the room, because if someone's emotionally led, then they're not rationally led. Alright, so you're either going to be rational or you're going to be completely emotional. Alright, and if you are one, you cannot be the other, and vice versa. So the only way that you're going to be able to engage with someone's mind is on a rational level, which means you've got to get them out of any emotion that they're currently in. Now, this is a really cool technique that you can apply either on yourself, if you so choose to, but it's especially effective when getting other people out of unwanted emotional states too. All right, it's kind of like one of these little mind games. It's quite cool. You'll see for yourself in a moment. So, what I would like you to do right now, just for illustration purposes, is consider something that really stresses you out in life. All right, think about someone, or a situation, or a circumstance, or it might be a colleague, or an old colleague, or an old boss, or it might be a tutor, or a lecturer, or it could be a parent, or a way in which a parent speaks to you. It could be anything. The way in which your husband, or your wife, or your spouse, or your brother, or your sister, or a friend speaks to you. But it's something that just brings about an unwanted, negative emotional state inside of you. Now, take a few moments just to get clear on what this major frustration is, and this technique is especially effective on the emotional states of anxiety and also anger. All right, very good for anxiety and anger. Not so effective for extreme sadness or depression, or any of these things. So, if you're now focused on this stressy emotional state, which I'm hoping that you are, if you're not, pause the video and just consider focus right in, because you know how to do this now, don't you? Remember, what you focus on, you feel. So focus on someone or a situation or a circumstance through which brings about an immense feeling of stress or anger or frustration or angst in you. All right, just a really powerful negative emotional state. Now, close your eyes now and focus in on this feeling. Focus in on this feeling. Focus in on this feeling. Because what I'm going to ask you to do now is, wherever you're at, take hold of this negative emotional state in your mind's eye. Then let it go and drop down through the floor. Drop down through the floor, inside of your mind's eye. You've got to do this inside of your mind. So ideally, you're going to be doing this with your eyes closed. All right. So you got your emotional state, then you let it go and you drop down through the floor, and you drop down through the emotion at the same time. Because now, if you have just followed my guidance, I'm going to ask you to consider, what emotional state are you experiencing now? What feeling are you feeling now? And the answer is most likely going to be very different from that previous emotional state that you were holding on to just a few moments earlier. Now, if there is some degree of negative emotion still there, in which there might very well be, then just drop down through again. Drop down through. Drop down through. Drop down through. And this is the process. There's nothing complicated to this. I've actually pinched this from the world of NLP, which is Neuro Linguistic Programming. It's one of these quick fix models that allows us just to connect with other people when they're completely focused in on their emotions. Because if you're able to get their attention for a second and just get them to close their eyes, focus on the feeling, get them to focus in on a situation where they're really feeling this emotional state, and then drop down through, drop down through, drop down through. The feeling and the emotional state just ends up vanishing into absolute nothingness. So, what I would strongly urge you to do is practice this on someone. All right, it could be a friend, a family member, someone that you know, and preferentially someone that you trust or someone that trusts you. And next time you see them in a real negative emotional state, just say, "Listen, I've just learned this really cool NLP technique. Can I practice it on you?" And then you ask them to close their eyes. Say, right, okay, so just focus in on that anger or that frustration or that emotion. Don't talk about it. Just really focus on it inside. And once you're feeling at your worst, just let go of it and drop down through. Drop down through it. Now, there's a good chance they're going to say, "But what do you mean by that?" Well, we're not engaging with them on a rational level here. We're talking to them in the midst of their emotional state. All right. So if they drop down through the emotional state, well, what they are only going to be able to find is that there's nothing or something very, very different on the other side, which is generally going to be something along the lines of peace. And if you think about it, peace is very, very different from anger or frustration or angst or fear or something like that. So, quick technique. I strongly urge you to practice this at home. Practice it on yourself, because this is great for just developing your own self-awareness a little bit further, which again, as I've already mentioned, is absolutely imperative if you really want to influence other people in this way. So all of this stuff is really important, core foundational stuff. I do appreciate that we haven't yet gone into life coaching models, but I do promise they are coming. If you can't get all of this stuff in place and you don't fundamentally understand this stuff, then all the greatest life coaching models and techniques and frameworks are going to be absolutely useless anyway if you don't get all of this stuff first. So, hope this makes sense. Practice at home, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.